Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the first group or the vocabulary group. We would like to present the strategies that can be used to teach vocabulary to young learners. And my name is Uli Nabila. I will start the presentation with this strategy. It is using the odd one out game. Just like the name, the student or the young learner is going to have to choose the odd word from a group of words. The next slide is the steps in implementing the strategy. There are 4 steps in total. The first one is before the class begins, the teacher have to make 4 to 6 groups of 3 or 4 words with one of them being unlike the other. For example, couch, wing chair, and then bench, and then lampstand. Number 2, the teacher is going to have to put the students in group or pair. And then they have to choose the odd word from each group and justify the reason why. And like the example, which is couch, wing chair, bench, and lampstand. Maybe they are going to choose the lampstand and give reason because lampstand is not something we sit on. And then the third step is to have students raise their hands. The teacher asks them to do this when they have complete all the sets and the teacher can check their answer. And then the last step is make a rule to only checking once. This is to avoid random guessings that the student may do. Going to the last slide is the references. So I got this strategy from an online article titled with Odd One Out ESL game, ESL activities available online at the link you see on the screen. And then the next is Cambridge English TKT Talks Type 4, Introduction to Odd One Out Text and Teacher's Note, available online at the link you see on the screen. Okay, so that is the first strategy. The next strategies is going to be presented by my friends. So check it out.
I would like explain about strategy to teach vocabulary to young learners using picture match game. Vocabulary is basic element of learning English. This is an important factor in reading, listening, writing, and speaking. There are many benefits of using game in learning vocabulary. Games are fun and they make to the learning process. The strategy of using game in teaching vocabulary is very effective for teaching young learners and for attending to their vocabulary in different way of learning. One of the game is word match game. This matching game can be one technique or strategy to improve children's vocabulary in a fun and enjoyable way. Picture match game become easy for teacher teaching vocabulary process. Picture match game are one of the games that can be used to learn vocabulary in English lesson. It is a game that develops knowledge of English short word for picture matching with it's very interesting. So the next step in picture match game. The first, start playing picture match game with a maker group. The student make a group of 2 until 4 members. Then the teacher giving instruction on how to play this game. And the second asks student to match the word with picture correctly. The game is that the teacher has prepared a picture and paper with the vocabulary word. Each group was asked to match the word and the picture. For example, the picture is car and the children must match to the paper what is the name of the picture. Also, this game is given about 3 minutes to make the game more fun. And the third, score the rest of the picture match game. The scoring of this game is based off speed and match the picture and name of the picture. In vocabulary, the group that finished first and the success in match word and the picture will be the winner. So in this game also practice children to thinking quickly. And then the next reference. Reference from journal University Pontianak. The title is Using the Use of Matching Game to Support Vocabulary Building for the Learning Specific Term in Local Vocabulary. So, thank you very much.
The next strategy is back to the board. Bootcamp range from simple to more complex, describing skills, grammar, and children also get to work on fine motor control as they manipulate and move game board pieces. Some board games have only a few pieces, a few spaces, and a few prompts. You can choose and you can modify a board game that matches the child abilities, like back to the board games. In the next slide, game pieces need a blackboard, some board makers with random color, and some vocabulary based on the topic. And steps in implementing the strategy are: first, split students into two teams. Second, one person from each team must sit on a chair with their back to the board. Third, the teacher write a word on the board the players on chair cannot see, but the rest of the team can see. Then both teams must try and describe the word on the board to the person from their team without using the actual word. And then the first team to guess the word gets 1 point. And then you switch the person on the chair so that everyone gets a cut at guessing. The next slide is some sources. You can see how to play this game via YouTube.
The next strategy is Hangman Game in vocabulary learning. Hangman Game is a word game that is represented by a row of digits. It is played between two people or more. One person selects a secret word, and the other tries to determine the word by guessing it letter by letter. The game provides clues, such as whether the word is an adjective or a noun, the anonym or synonym word. Hangman is a great way for kids to practice their spelling, pronunciation, improve their vocabulary, and have fun at the same time. The next is how to play Hangman games. At the first is choose one person to be in the house. This is the person that invents the puzzle for the other person to solve. They will be tasked with choosing a word or parse that. The second, if you are the host, choose a secret word. The other player will need to guess your word letter by letter. So choose a word you think will be difficult to guess. Third, draw a blank line for each letter in the word. And the fourth, fill the letter in the blanks if the player guessed correctly. The next, draw part of the hangman
when the player guesses wrong. At last, the player wins when they guess the correct word. I get reference from How to Play Hangman article and the use of Hangman Game in motivating students in learning English journal. Thank you.
Okay, the next strategy is total physical response, or commonly known by TPR. This method was developed by James Asher, a psychology professor in California. And this method is considered suitable for teaching English to children because the learning emphasizes activities that are directly related to physical activity or movement. And then he concludes the emotional factors affect children's language learning. So it means that learning language by involving games with movement and combined with singing or storytelling will reduce the pressure of language learning for children. And this is of course important to the children in learning to make it easier. Okay, the next about steps in implementing the strategy of total physical response. So the first, the teacher performs an action, but demonstrating and saying a vocabulary. And for the example, you can see the picture. The teacher says nose, while she points to his own nose, and then the student follow him. And then the second step is the teacher calls on the student to repeat the action. And then the third, to strengthen the understanding of the student, the teacher can write the vocabulary on the board. And the last is repeat this action with other vocabularies and return to them regularly during the semester to check retention of the student. Well, the last point about the references that I use. To learn more about the definition of total physical response, you can find it on Farida Samad and Nurella Tidores article. The title is Strategi Pembelajaran Bahasa Inggris yang Menyenangkan untuk Anak Usia Dini, and about the step in implementing the strategy, you can find it on Education First website. The title is An Introduction to Total Physical Response and 4 Activities to Try. Thanks.
The next strategy is guessing game as a strategy in teaching English vocabulary. The steps in implementing the strategy are: first, give some object as the materials to the students. This object can be a picture, and then give some clues that are related to things to be guessed. For example, we will guess the vegetable, so the clue is vegetable that can make your eyes healthy, like that. Next, the student have to guess what it is. After the student guess it correctly, ask the student to write the words at the bird. If there is a student write the words incorrectly at the bird, so the teacher inform the student about the correct words. After that, give picture of things that has been guessed correctly by the students. And the last, the students show the picture to their friends in front of the class.
And the last strategy is puzzle game on a development English learning about mastery vocabulary. There are many types of puzzle. The teacher can divide into small groups and give the puzzle for the student to poke around. A type of puzzle, namely, the first is spelling puzzle. The second is jigsaw puzzle. The third is the thing puzzle. The fourth is the letter or readiness puzzle. And the fifth is crossword puzzle. And this strategy showed on Arif Radianur puzzle game on a development English learning about mastery vocabulary, UNESA. Okay, maybe enough here from us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.